celebrated graphic novel ever, Watchmen. Now the Watchmen characters in the DC universe come together for the first time. DC proudly presents Doomsday Clock. Geoff Johns, Gary Frank, a 12-issue comic book series. Get issue number 1 at a comic shop near you.
Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. Today I am going to be doing a review of Doomsday Clock number 2, but first off I have a quick shout out for my friends over at OutrightGeekery.com. It's a cool geek website, and I will have a link for them in the description box. This book is written by Geoff Johns with art by Gary Frank, and the colors are by Brad Anderson. Be sure to watch my previous review for issue 1 if you haven't already, with a link in the description box. So, starting off on the cover, I'm gonna rag on this cover a little bit, come on. I saw this cover in the previews and stuff, and I get it's part of the story, but it just looks like a pile of laundry. What were they thinking with that as the main cover? So I like the variant cover a lot better, the Lex Luthor cover, and that's the one they've been using in all the promotional stuff. So anyways, that's my thought on the main cover. So that's just my personal opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think, but I'm pretty sure most people would prefer to have the Lex Luthor cover. So starting off on the first page, we're catching up a little bit with Marionette and the Mime. So as you know, they have been sprung out of jail by Rorschach. So it's back in the background. There's security footage of a crime that the Marionette and the Mime did in the past. So it's really interesting, actually, and there's a lot of little details that kind of give you a good idea of who they are as characters. And as that is going on, they're also putting on their outfits. So Ozymandias and everyone are going to leave. They have the Owl ship fitted so it can basically go through quantum space, because they're going to track down Dr. Manhattan. At least that's the idea. But anyways, what happened in that bank heist that is so important that the Marionette and the Mime were in is Dr. Manhattan actually shows up. You get this really cool reveal. We see him here for the first time in this comic. It looks like at first he's gonna actually kill the Mime. He points at him, and then he hesitates for a second because the Marionette jumps in front of him and says, "Don't kill him." And Manhattan looks like he's gonna kill her and kind of narrows his eyes, and as you can see here, he kind of looks at her and then he decides not to. So it's pretty much implied he decided not to because she's pregnant. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyways, as you may recall, the Russians have launched their missiles and they're headed to the United States. So Ozymandias and Rorschach are already in the newly outfitted Owl ship, and the other two get in, and they leave, and they get out of there just in time. As you see here, the nuke hits the city, and everyone's obliterated. So they jump through, and they are following Dr. Manhattan because he is leaking electrons, they had found out. So they blast off, and then we change scenes, and we see here Bruce Wayne actually, and he's taking a Rorschach test. Isn't that something? And yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyways, apparently he'd been mandated to have an annual psych exam by his board of directors. So anyways, there's an interesting parallel here where people are protesting the superheroes and whatnot the same way they had in the Watchmen, and we see that here they're actually protesting Batman. So he's coming to terms with that, and then we see this. I like these panels here. This was my favorite page, I think. We see the bat signal in the clouds, and then boop, the eyes, and then the owl ship comes through. So yeah, they blasted through and they came out in the universe Batman's in. So that's how the Watchmen got over into his universe. And they crash land, and Rorschach and Ozymandias decide to tie up the other two and leave them behind. Well, they handcuff them because they're criminals. They really don't trust them. So they're there to track down the two smartest men here, they've decided, so they can find Dr. Manhattan. So I thought that was really cool. So they go to the library to find out who that is, and they figure out that it's Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne. So they send out Rorschach goes to meet Bruce Wayne, and Ozymandias goes to find Lex Luthor. And we find out Rorschach sneaks through the main Wayne Manor and gets down into the Batcave, and Ozymandias gets into Lex Luthor's facility and starts talking to him. Meanwhile, the Mime and the Marionette conversating a little bit, and they decide that they're going to escape. And it's really interesting when Rorschach's looking around in the Batcave. He's seeing all of the trophies and items Batman has, and he thinks this guy's got to be like a bad guy. And here towards the end, as Ozymandias is talking to Lex Luthor, someone shoots and tries to kill him. The bullet misses and hits Lex Luthor, who I assume is wounded. We don't know for sure. He's just laying on the ground. We'll find out in the next issue. But then we get this big reveal here on the last page. And look at the art. It just looks amazing. But it's the comedian. He's back or alive somehow. I mean, we all know he died in the Watchmen. That was the way it started off. But anyways, he's alive, and he says, "This time I'm ready for you." So I guess we'll find out what happens in the next issue. I thought it was really great. You know, I was only able to touch on some of the highlights. All the dialogue throughout is really well written. You know, Geoff Johns doesn't waste a word. So there's like 4 pages at the end that are some information on Lex Luthor's computer, and those are pretty cool. Well, that's all for now. I thought it was pretty great, and I almost forgot to mention Rorschach on his way through the Bruce Wayne Manor ate Batman's breakfast, so that alone makes it a good comic. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the covers. Did you like the variant cover? Did you like the laundry pile cover? Have you been reading the series? Are you planning on checking out issue 3? Alright, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and hey, if you aren't subscribed, why not subscribe? And thank you for being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.